Almost. Okay, now we're live.
All right.
Follow you, Charlie.
Okay. Thank you all for listening and attending today. This is our weekly live stream of the Pyramid Science Foundation. I'm Charlie ZIES'S, and with me is Lisa Richards. Today, our special guest is Peter DeBenedittis, better known as Peter D. Peter has become a friend of mine for the last several years. I met Peter through another gentleman named G.W. Harden, who actually is also into sound healing. Elena, he has done a lot of work on solfeggio frequencies, and that's really the way I got to know Peter. Peter has taught classes, internet classes that I've taken over the last few years, and is a great teacher. So some other interesting things to know about Peter. He recently ran for governor of New Mexico, didn't win, and I'm personally grateful for that, because that means he's here today to teach us some interesting facts. But the other thing that Peter has done, away from the information he's going to impart today, he started a highly successful business, he created a process to treat addiction. And whereas the recidivism rate in AA is maybe 90%, Peter's techniques have a success rate of 90% plus. So that's a fascinating topic in and of itself. But anyway, it's my pleasure to welcome Peter. Peter is going to teach us to lead us in some meditations and give us some guidance today on how to increase our abilities. So take it away, Peter.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for that kind introduction. I'm very, very grateful. One slight correction for people who are listening out there. It's not addiction treatment, it's prevention that I
prevention
work with.
Okay, right. Sorry.
So it's before the fact. After the fact is not the program that I run, but before the fact, amazing results. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Okay, my mistake.
No worries. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of what we're doing today, I just want to direct you to my website, which is becomingawesome.one. So it's not .com, it's .one. So becomingawesome.one, and you can get a lot of free tools for clearing processes, which is very, very useful. We're going to talk about that today. Also for abundance, if that's one of your issues, there's abundance tools there. And there's also a way to contact me to book sessions, private sessions, where I channel your sacred higher self. It's kind of interesting. People say, who do you channel? I go, well, pretty much anybody I want to, but we get the best results when I actually ask your spirit if I have permission to speak about the things that may not be directly clear to you. So it's a way of breaking through some barriers to get some information that's internally in you. It's kind of cool. So that's available all at becomingawesome.one.
Awesome. I actually added your website in the chat, and there's also your other links and your website are in the description as well.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Yeah, and so you guys can cut and paste that if you want to use that. So I'm going to open up to general questions and answers at the end. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to start with a brief discussion on abilities, because we're moving into a whole new realm, and the old rules don't apply. And I see this so many times from people I talk to and people I help, oh, well, this teacher or this guru or this religious tract, and it just doesn't cut with the energy that we're in now. We're going where humanity and quite frankly, consciousness has never gone before. We're going into a place where it's not just a spirit that is in multi-dimension and can do all the things that the higher entities and great beings do, but also is a spirit that is embodied in physicality. And we're moving from 3D into 4 and 5D. And that means that's something the universe has not done before, is the ability to have all the experience and perception and knowledge of the higher dimensions and be physical. And so that's what we're creating. So a lot of the old rules don't apply. And there's lots of new abilities that are coming to people everywhere. I was working with a woman yesterday, and it blew my mind because I'd read about this before, but this was the first person I'd met face to face. This woman could simultaneously hold her consciousness in 2 timelines. So she could be in her kitchen in New Mexico preparing breakfast, and in her kitchen in Reykjavik, Iceland, preparing breakfast in the same moment, and literally with the same physicality and experience of doing it. And she's trying to grapple with this new ability. And that's what we're all doing, is grappling with new abilities. All right. And so that was the most exciting one to me I've come across recently. But 1, because it was yesterday, and 2, because think about it in terms of those of us who have been coming out of the 3D mold. Think about it in terms of how much forces have been aligned to keep us small, and how they want to mask us or inject us with things in our bodies, or, keep us in debt slavery or something like that. Think about that as a timeline versus another timeline where we're free, where it doesn't cost anything to live on the planet. Okay. We're free financially. We're free in our abilities. Think about moving between those timelines, which we are doing. But now it's starting to get squishy, is the words I use, squishy with both time and space and reality as you're moving between them. So I was so excited to meet someone who's like trying to grapple with being in 2 timelines. And I was speaking with this person. I'm like, I'm talking to her sacred self. And I'm like, just go for it. Come on. That's what we're showing you this. That I'm talking to my sacred self afterwards. And my sacred self is telling me, Peter, of course we put this person in your sphere because you're ready to start to conceive and start to act on those levels. So we had to put somebody in front of you to show you that this is possible. And so that's where we're all at. And that's just one ability. All right. That's exciting me. Since there's just a small number of us here, if you'd like to just quickly go around to the members that are on with us live on Zoom and talk about an ability that you're aware of, or that you would like to be having, that you just kind of heard that's out there. Okay. And then after we hear from everybody, we're going to do a group meditation, because group meditation and prayer is so much more powerful to manifest, that we manifest our abilities. So if we could just go around, Charlie, if you want to moderate this section, just call on people and just share, sure. What would your ability be?
Okay. Well, let's start with, I don't know, Elena, do you want to start?
Sure, why not? This is a very exciting proposition to try collectively to enhance and manifest our heart's desire. I mean, in terms of abilities. I was always wanting to develop my higher psychic abilities, clair gifts, whatnot. But recently I started fantasizing and kind of getting taste of the ability to go to the 0 point, to have an ability to manipulate the energy flow, to unmanifest whatever I'm not happy with, and manifest whatever I want to come out in my experience, both in terms of healing, in terms of abundance, and whatnot.
That's really cool, because when you're at the 0 point, that's where everything is, right? That is very cool. Right. Thank you for sharing that. I just want to add that the reason I'm focused on this is some of the entities I work with that I've opened up to as my abilities have expanded. And if you're interested, you can go to the About page of becomingawesome.1 and you'll hear my story. But some of the entities I work with are just full-time sending activations to increase ability. I mean, you don't know how big the field is of angelic and ET and extra dimensional beings that are helping with this right now. That's why I wanted to focus on this topic. So thank you. Who else?
Cool. Thanks, Peter. I will
I mean,
visit that page definitely.
Zen, do you have some thoughts?
Actually, I do. Hi, Charlie. It's Patricia.
Hello.
I didn't pop in earlier, but yes, I am noticing. I had a lot of dreams and visions and things when I was younger, and then as I got a little older, I decided that, oh, maybe I should try to live like the status quo or what society says, and it nearly took me out. And when I decided to come back to the abilities that I was born with, I mean, with the wisdom that I have now and everything, I am telling you, I am seeing things change on a massive level. You talk about manifesting and materializing and things like that. So this is really, really interesting to me that that you're doing, because I'm fascinated. I want to know how to harness this, because I'm actually thinking of things and I'm seeing them happen. I'm also seeing that my field, when I'm around people that I know I love and care about, that I'm seeing changes start to happen in them. People telling me, wow, there's something happening to me. I'm noticing more, or I feel like I'm becoming psychic or something. And these are people that would have never, ever said that in life ever. So this is a very fascinating time. I'm really anxious to hear what you have to say about being able to harness this energy. And that's about my take on it.
Sweet. We're going to do a process in a few moments to actually bring that in. But I want to just mention to you that part of the old paradigm is that we think we need to learn it or we need somebody to explain it to us. And the new paradigm is no, you already have it. So the fact that you're noticing this around you means you're already in that state and in that field. So the step to take is to move past the mental blockages of, oh, I'm not good at this or I'm new at this, and say, oh, I'm in the middle of this. Let me play. Now, of course, it's play and experiment, and you'll grow in your abilities. But the biggest step to take is not, what do I need to do it? The biggest step to take is, what can I let go of that's stopping me from believing I can already do it? Because from what you just said, you already are, and you're noticing the effect of people around you.
Very cool. Yeah.
I just want to interject one thing. I'm so glad that I ended up on this call today. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great.
Glad you're here.
Well, I'll take a quick shot, Peter. I mean, I know that I just published this book, and certainly one of the things abilities that I want to enhance, I want to take the research that I've done and attempt to build a dynamic model of how creation works inside the torus, and figure out how we can take that knowledge and apply it to our health, to our to energy, to psi abilities, the whole 9 yards. So that's just a goal that I have out there, and I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be able to do that. But I would love to have that ability flow to me very, very quickly.
Sweet.
And effortlessly.
Just as you were talking, Charlie, I could visualize the torus, right? And I could feel the energy, and it just ramped up. So what I'd like to share with you is in my processes. So when I get information, and it took me a long time to accept that I was getting information. That's why I was saying that's a big barrier to get past. When I get information, it comes to me as a squirt. So I have this energetic thing in my head, and then I have to filter it through my language, right? And be able to talk to it. So when I'm talking to somebody and they're asking for specifics about food and nutrition or science and stuff, I don't have the words and the language in me to take that energetic squirt and make it come out in speaking. So the beauty is, because you've spent so much time studying this, okay?
Mhm.
That you have that language and you know all this. So for you, if I had to make a suggestion, for you, it is just the allowance, the allowing.
Yeah.
And so, and it always comes like when you don't expect it, when you're relaxed, when you're in the shower or before bed or something like that. So
Absolutely.
just be aware of that. And, that whole class we just took with GW about allowance and the gateway key. Get a nice gateway key, put it under your pillow when you go to sleep and say, I'm allowing the dreams of how to make this manifest come to me. And then
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so it's already there. It's kind of cool.
I've used that ability in years past and currently. I think the pyramid has helped me tremendously. All I do is ask the universe, and so it does provide. So that's exactly right. Anyway, Donna, how about you? Do you have some ideas and thoughts?
Kind of just all of the above, really, and learning who I am, the love, the truth, and the power that I have, and connecting with that.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right.
Sweet.
All right, Lisa, do you have any thoughts before we proceed?
Oh, yes. So I love my sleep, and I like to sleep a lot if I can. But I would love to be able to utilize that time more efficiently. I have the crazy dreams, and I'd love to understand them more, and I'd love to learn how to astral travel. I've always been, I attempted it a few different times. I just haven't pursued it, but I would just love to do that.
So can I give you a little bit of feedback from just my intuition of what's coming through right now?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
You are using that time. Right?
Yeah.
You are using it. You're just not aware of it in this reality of being awake and 3D and all that stuff. Astral traveling was what led me here a year ago. That was my New Year's, not this one, but the one before. My New Year's resolution was to bilocate to the point where I wake up when I have sand in my pocket from having been on the beach. Right.
Oh, very cool.
And it was funny because I've yet to have that experience, but all these other skills just came flooding in as a result. So the intuition I got when I was listening to you is that you already are. It's just a matter of remembering, but bigger than that is if I can make a suggestion, please.
Of course.
Don't tie it to a roadmap of it's got to look like this and I'm going to have this, because those are experiences other people have had that you've heard about and stuff. You're going into a new realm, and it may be new and it may not look like what you think it's supposed to be. And as you open up to that, it can be things that I'm not there. You're going to start to notice around the fringes. Oh, I did that last night. I did this last night, and all kinds of things. So that's what I'd like to add that I was picking up while you were talking.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have utilized dreams to connect with my uncle who had passed away before we moved into his old home, which worked great. It took me several nights to focus and before he actually appeared and I remembered it, but it was amazing. It was, and I feel the same as you, that I'm obviously doing some work on the other side, through the dreams. I just don't remember.
And sometimes it's better.
Yeah.
There was a time where I was waking up with bruises and bleeding and stuff like that. I'm like, do I really want to know what I was doing last night? So I just made a deal with my sacred higher self. You can send me on missions. I know I got abilities and stuff, but you must ask me the night before because I may want to sleep that night.
Yeah. Good idea. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do is we're going to go into a brief meditation. We're going to spend 5 minutes getting into oneness, because that's what I excel at, is the ability. I've been gifted with this, and I'm grateful that I can help hold a field of oneness consciousness. And then as we all get into that oneness consciousness, it's going to be bigger because we're going to be bringing a lot of help in, okay? And then from there, we're going to go into a statement of manifestation. And that statement of manifestation is going to be something to the effect of, sweet divine, I am so grateful for all the abilities, the extra dimensional abilities that are manifest in my life. And I am particularly happy that I am now serving the planet as a beacon and a guide for other people to see and develop their abilities. Okay, so that's, if you're in line with that, that's what we're going to go with. It's important to do it for beyond yourself, because at a certain level, to do this effectively, you can't just do it for yourself. You literally have to do it for everybody if you're going to be in oneness. So we're just acknowledging that. Now, notice that this prayer, because it is a prayer, was couched in terms of it's already happened. We are not asking for something to happen. We are giving gratitude that it has happened. Okay. Now, it will help you if you're into the higher things, is when you're quiet and everything, is to actually see it in 3D, see it, smell it, feel it, hear it in 3D, and have that visual part be on your right side, just below your eye level. Okay. All right. So when we're going to do is we're going to get into oneness. I'm going to guide you through that. Then we're going to make the statement of gratitude. And then we're going to spend about 5 or 10 minutes, I think, just holding that vision of having happened. Okay. And when we're done, we can discuss that, and that'll lead to more questions and things like that. So we on board with how that all works? Good. All right. So we're going to dive into this in just a second. Go ahead and get comfy, take a nice breath, close your eyes if that's what you like doing. Good. Now, please bring your sacred higher self to be present with us. Just invite your sacred higher self to be here. Good. Now, please bring in your team, whoever you work with, whoever you pray with, you know, whether it's the Christ or Buddha or Allah, whether it's angels or whoever, ET friends, bring in your team, ask them to be here now. Yeah, you can feel the energy spike. Very cool. Good. Now, please, let's welcome in Mother Earth, Gaia, and all the kingdoms within Gaia, animals, minerals, plants, all the different realms, dragons, fairies. Sweet. Now let's please bring in our ancestors, the whole lineage that is you, that was the creation of you. Ask them to be here. And now we're going to put out an open call for all beings of high consciousness in service to light and love, who are aligned with our intent in this meditation. And we want to know that everybody who is listening, you're going to go through this same process, because this is beyond time and space. So your energy is already here, even though you will be invoking it at some point when it may seem like the future to you. So all of this is together. And when you have this in your experience, in your time, everybody that we're connected with will be with you as well. Oh yeah, that boosted up the energy a lot, bringing in all the future meditators. Okay, so here's how it's going to play for the first song. I'm going to play a song, and you're going to breathe in golden light from the central source into your heart. You're just going to breathe it in. Then you're going to exhale it to everybody on the call and all the consciousness that we've invited to be with us. Then you're going to repeat. You're going to breathe it in from everybody into your heart, and then exhale it back to the entire call and all the consciousness that is with us. So we're just going to spend 5 minutes cycling through that energy. Thank you, sweet divine. We are so grateful that the multidimensional abilities we've discussed have manifest within us. We are filled with joy that we have become beacons on earth for all to see abilities beyond wonder and belief as they start to manifest. Thank you for allowing us to be in the front wave of this next step of ascension, and for being the conduits to help others claim their amazing abilities. And so it is. Now, as we discussed, spend the next 10 minutes seeing in 3D the manifestation of the abilities we talked about, or whatever else your divine wishes to show you as a possible ability. Just let it flow, feel it, and hold gratitude for it. Thank you so much. When we do processes like this, it helps a lot if you would care to share your internal experience. It helps validate everybody else's awareness and also creates more information and knowledge that we can draw on as we manifest our own abilities. So if anybody feels moved to share what they experienced during our meditation, it would be very much welcome.
I'll share. That was amazing, Peter. Thank you so much. So as I got deeper into the meditation, I was shown that I was flying. You know, I've been wanting to astral travel, and I was flying. But then it popped into my mind that I had to eliminate my fear of heights in order to astral travel. That's why they haven't shown me. And so that's something I have to overcome. I was never scared of heights until probably about several years ago. And because I always loved climbing trees and stuff, but they said they'll show me more. I'll remember more once I overcome that fear. I also like to sun gaze, and the sun seems different to me. So I really haven't been doing that. It seems like an LED light instead of like the softer golden light that I'm used to. And so I haven't been sun gazing, but I was told if I keep my eyes closed and look at the back of my eyelids towards the sun, that will help as well.
Cool.
So yeah, so I'm going to try that.
Thank you so much. Let's just each share and then we'll discuss afterwards so we can get what's fresh with people.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa. Who else would like to contribute?
I'm ready to share. I saw a lot of there are beings that I actually talk with, and so they were there. But what was amazing was I saw a lot of other light beings. Like at first, one was draped in this horrific looking thing, and they said that's because we draped like this because this is what you think of us, but let's show you who we really are. And they came out, it was just in droves, a bunch of balls of light, and they're saying, we're here to support you. Peter's right. You're already in it. You're already doing it. Don't be afraid. We got you. So that's really cool for me. And of course, I started crying and realizing what a wonderful life I actually have, regardless to any ups, any downs. But they told me those are just lessons. You're in this. Just do it. Play. Have fun. We've got you. That was my experience. And I could feel everyone's golden energy, which was so amazing. Thank you so much for just the support.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was fantastic. Who else wants to jump in this beautiful swimming pool we've created?
Yeah, I agree with everyone. That was quite an experience. Thank you so much, Peter, for holding this space and this energy. I also was able to fly. Well, not exactly flying, but you know, this dream to become bilocal, to be able, project myself to wherever I want to be at the moment without using, this traveling hustle, visas and stuff. Yeah, that would be awesome. And this is exactly what I had a glimpse of experiencing. Just to be in different locations simultaneously. It was great. Yeah, and in regard of my request to do 0-point healing, manifesting and stuff, I also had a feeling of how to do it. Well, maybe it's just my imagination. I'm not exactly sure about this.
Stop, cancel, delete.
Yes, I know.
Start with you have a
delete
glimpse
from
how to do
quantum
it
field right
forward.
here, right now. Yeah, it was amazing. Firework at the end. Just big, beautiful firework for me and for everyone else present in spirit and, energetic light beings around me.
Sweet. Thank you so much. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Donna? Okay, Charlie?
Wait, it's Donna, are you going to say something? Guess not. Okay. I mean, all I can say, okay.
With kiteboarding and distractions. And all I could, so I decided, okay, let's just gaze at the clouds and whatnot. And I really felt a connection to archangels, starships, maybe even out here.
Nice.
It's quite an amazing in the clouds.
Nice.
So yes, I appreciate this very much.
Thank you.
All I'll say is with all of the effort in the physical plane of getting a book out the door, I realized just today that my spiritual practice has been lacking, quite honestly, the last couple of months. And boy, was it nice to get back into a feeling of tranquility where I could actually and spent some time visualizing the things that I want to achieve and accomplish. And after that session, I felt a whole lot lighter. I know it's working.
Sweet. Thank you.
Hey, Peter, can I share one from YouTube?
Yes, please.
So Pat on YouTube joined us and says, that was wonderful. I felt and communicated with Christ consciousness. I felt such love in the golden light to purple as I sent healing energy to two friends.
Fantastic.
And then somebody else wanted to know if, just real quick, I know we'll save the questions till the end, but did you use frequencies for that music?
I'm going to talk about the music in a second, but first I want to complete what we're doing here.
Okay.
So I'm going to share and then we'll open up to feedback and discussion. First of all, it was very sweet. It's different because I haven't done this with any of you before. So it was just nice to connect with, difference. Oh, yeah, it's nice to be in oneness, but a different oneness than I'm used to with my own group. So that was cool. Then that was kind of like, I was like being shown watching TV. What channel do I want? And that was kind of like timeline flipping. Then it was kind of moving towards like a fair with all the different booths. And it's like, ooh, here's somebody who has this ability. Let me go to that booth. And it was just all right there and I could choose. And then the last part was just gratitude. Several collectives that I speak with and several other collectives of entities that I did not meet until today popped in and just said, thank you. They're like, we've been sending all this, but until people on earth choose to ground it, most of it just bounces off. And by what we're doing here today, and each of you are doing, it becomes then a route that we broadcast out from. And so the gratitude was being flooded from the other side for us doing this. And that was really, really cool. Okay, so I like to do it in an order where everybody shares and then we go into discussion about what happened and people's experiences. Let me answer the music question right now. That was from the first one was, God, I'm spacing out his name, but he always plays with Cryon a lot, was the first bit of music when we were going to oneness. It was called Towards the Light. And let me just call up real quick. Give me 1 second here. Robert Coxon. That's the guy's name, Robert Coxon. All right. And the second two musics were from my friend with piano music. His name is Bob Yonker, and you can find him on Shared Dreams. That's what he calls it. And he channels music, and he used to meditate with us. And I said, hey, Bob, have spirit send us some stuff that's good for what we want to do when we create this oneness and manifestation. He's like, okay.
So beautiful.
Bob Yonker, Yonker, Shared Dreams. And you can find them all over Pandora, all that kind of stuff. So that was where that music is from, and it's channeled. And Bob's interesting too, because you can call him up and say, here I am, have a personal song for me, and he'll actually, kind of like your toning thing, but he'll tap into his angels, he'll talk to their angels, and then write music specifically for that person to bring them up.
Wow.
It's really kind of
Oh, sorry to interrupt you real quick, though. We have one more comment on YouTube, if I could read it, of what they experienced. Jody says, I was guided to lie down in my pyramid, so my heart was under the apex and my head outside. First time for that. I brought my daughter to me, and she was laughing and telling me all is well.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Thank you. So anyway, I love getting into oneness like this because stuff happens and then it becomes more powerful. And like you're talking, Charlie, about what you're interested in, about knowing, and what you were talking about, Elena, when you were talking about getting to 0 point. To me, that's what the oneness is, and so to me, this is a practice to swim around in it. And when you swim around in it, stuff starts coming to you. Sorry, I was so forceful about languaging earlier when you were talking, Alana, about, no, that's the normal thing to say. Oh, but stop that. Have the experience and let the experience be the reality instead of the mind telling you what you can and can't experience. So as we do that more, one of the things that I've been learning recently that I wanted to share a little bit about is allowance. I took a class on this and I didn't understand it on first, but when you're on the other, let's say you're in a multidimensional state, you're in 5D, or you're in that 0 point field, intention can backfire. If you hold an intent very clearly, and this is what we've been taught in 3D, to hold the intent and then see it come into manifestation. In 5D, it can backfire. And in doing my internal exploration, I've been finding that the reason for the backfire is because we're in this expansive field and because we are the focal point. Anything that we are holding unconsciously is instantly attracted to us. So all the blockages that we have not cleared yet come to us. And so we often get the opposite result that we're trying to get, because the universe wants us to clear that out so that we can be the open vessel and channel and have what we do want to come in. So I've been hearing a lot of language about allowing things to happen. And that is super, super important and super cool. But I want to add to that by saying, clear. That is the message that comes to me in all of my work, is that the reason we are shown these things, the reason we're having the experiences we have, is because we have set up the grid work, the magnetic energy of who we are, to bring these things into us. And if we're not happy with what we're bringing in, then of course it's instant feedback that there's something within me that's still holding an energy that I'm not in tune with, I'm not at one with, okay? All right, so the object is to get into one with that energy, and that's where you do clearings, clear. On my website, becomingawesome.one, O-N-E.1, there's just a whole page of clearing practices. You can just, let me use this one, let me use that one. And if you don't have one of your own, you could pick one of those. I also do sessions by donation. This is kind of radical for me to step out there and say, it's not money. Money will change hands if you want it to change hands. People who enjoy energy and understand the power of being complete will circle energy around. And so they'll give and receive because it's directly equal. But it's not like I'm charging anything. So if you're in a financial place, enjoy your financial place, but don't let that stop you from taking a session. Okay. And during these sessions, I can work with my experience. I've been doing this for a long time, been trained in being a oneness trainer and a guide for clearing these experiences, and helped a lot of people with them, how to get to exactly what a blockage is and remove it. And we can do that in several different ways. We can do it for something that's up in the moment. We can do it for a pattern that's been with you your whole lifetime. Those are really fun to clear, and they can clear surprisingly easy. We can do it karmically. You know, do you want to do a past life? Or do you want to clear it there? We can do it in the womb, conceptual stuff that was overlaid to you when you're in that sponge period of growing. So all those are available, and, you know, just check it out, book a session, book a coaching session first so we can talk about what's up and what's needed. And then clear, because that will really help you manifest more, because you're allowing. I hope I'm making sense with the difference between going into 5D with intent versus going into 5D with allowing. But my experience is that you do get this backfire because the unconscious stuff will attract very strongly there. And then you'll wonder why you're not getting what you want and get scared and all that other stuff. And so, you know, just clear it and then swim in 5D because it's beautiful. So
will that process work on career changes?
It can.
Okay.
It can. So the process
not
is
that I want to change careers. I'm happy, but
yeah,
I know people who need that. Yeah.
I'm at my 20-year career change. Well, it's not just career change right now, Charlie. There's so much new energy coming in that people have to align, and they're getting very clear guidance. I'm not with the right partner. I'm not living in the right place. I'm not following the right use of time, which we often call a career. I hate thinking that, you know, career is time, but a lot of people see that as their life. You know, you meet people, hi, what do you do? We express it that way. All right. So, so when you're not in alignment with it, which is, of course, you're not going to be aligned with it. We're leaving 3D behind, and all that energy is not really energy that's supportive of where we're going. So yes, many people must be changing careers right now, and clear. And then you can take that next step. Of course, it's always afraid, like height or this or that. Of course it always is, but that's the excitement. That's the fine line. Am I afraid or am I excited because I don't really know what the outcome is?
It's a little fear, I think, in this person's psyche. So yeah, needs to get cleared. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and so I would like to also add that I'm very strongly motivated to help people on the one-on-one level. So if you resonate with my energy, please, you know how to find me, becomingawesome.one, but also pass this along, because I'm particularly looking at people who are aware that there's a new world opening up, but aren't familiar with the rules yet. You wouldn't be on this call if you weren't playing in those energies already. But the experiences you told me you all had when you shared what happened during your meditation, you're already pretty far along in the process, okay? So I'm looking for people who are like at our level or just starting out for new, okay? I'm not looking for any converts. I'm not looking for somebody who wants to stay where they're at, okay? But if you could just share this. I used to have a really big ego until I spent a lot of time letting people know I have a really big ego. Notice how I just mentioned my big ego. I can take credit for having it. Okay. So in this process, I no longer have the need for adulation that I used to have and being adored. I had a public speaking career where it was fabulous. I'd travel all over. Thousands of people would listen to what I'd say. Then they'd clap and hand me checks. I mean, God, it was so good for my ego. But but I no longer do that. And it's interesting watching that part of me no longer be at the forefront. And so now I'm at this point where I'm just really called to serve. Just how can I help the next person take their step? And and so awesome. I'm trying to do that in a small way with word of mouth. So if any of you've got somebody you think might be resonant with what I'm trying to do, please send them my way.
Okay.
Awesome. Hey, Peter, I wanted to just touch on something that you brought up earlier. You know, how we're being bombarded pretty much on every level with some sort of poisons, you know, through our air, through our food, through our water. And that alone should show people just how powerful we really are. If they have to hit us on every level to knock us down, and it's about time that we take control of that. You know, we break free from that and we wake up to what our true power really is, because the world needs us. You know, humanity needs us.
Yes, so true. And that was one of the messages that came through to me when I was meditating. It's like this whole, there's the fear of that, of course, right? Then there was the let's fight against that, which has helped many people become consciousness. But many of those fighters are starting to realize, oh, I'm staying in 3D by staying in opposition to this. I'm keeping my consciousness in the reality of this opposition. And so people are starting to break out of that. Which is the next step. And I think you're addressing some of that, is that, oh, I am magnificent. And the message I got very clearly from Source when I was doing the meditation was, yes, that's still around and it's fading. Don't really worry about it. Keep your attention on this new reality that you're creating. And just know that it's going to just crumble. Bye-bye.
Nice. Well, I think another thing that holds people back, especially people that have been doing, meditating and healing for years, is the fear of leaving their loved ones behind that aren't waking up to this. I think that's really holding us down a level, because we don't want to. We know where we should be. We know how powerful we can be, but we don't want to leave them behind.
So if I can put a little twist on that.
Yeah.
Because the reality is everything you said is true in 3D. In 5D, I'm immortal. My loved ones are immortal. We're sitting there, and since time and space is all relative, that means the future is already happening in 5D, right? That's where it gets really crazy. We're already sitting there with our loved ones, laughing. And remember that time you played the role of not wanting to go there, and I had to drag you, and I got all upset, laughing about it. Okay. So part of what you're addressing, Lisa, is the initiation to the next level of, it starts off with fear because we're 3D animals, and that's where we started with. So of course the fear is, I'm going to leave these people behind. And the people who want to keep us down do use emotions to hold us hostage. They do use our compassion against us to hold us hostage, because that's how evil they are. All right. So it just makes the initiation stronger. But then the initiation becomes realizing I'm a 5D soul and my loved one is a 5D soul. And then all of a sudden you're there. Okay. And you're freer. And it also gives them room, because you're no longer holding the image through the energetics of the fear. You're no longer holding that magnetic resonance grid of keeping them there. So then they can choose or not choose. And it doesn't matter, because you're still laughing with them about the process.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Cool. Yeah. Zen's comment is fascinating. I just hope to understand what's being explained today. And the fact is, we're making it up as we go, and so are you. And so you're going to practice with it, and it won't be long till you'll be playing the role of whoever you choose to. I mean, that was part of our meditation today. It's not just that we have abilities, but we are conduits for those who are becoming able. And so yes, and you're already doing it. And the fact is that you're teasing out the puzzle. Wanting to understand is teasing out the puzzle. That is the process. You're mute, Charlie.
Sorry about that. Are there any other comments or questions from the group? Because our hour's probably about up. So
there's just one more question. Was the music that you were playing, I know you gave us the people who created them, but were there solfeggio frequencies in those, I assume?
No.
No, there wasn't? Okay.
Not that I'm aware of. Bob goes into trance. So actually, so I have a YouTube channel, Becoming Awesome. All right. And there's some interviews. So if you go back to the very bottom of the playlist, the very first interview I did was with Bob Yonkar and how he does this process. So if you're interested in that, you can watch Bob there, and there might be some links that are active to how to get his music if you want. But he's very interesting. He's just a friend, just like all of us had to go through the whole process of, can I take this to the public? Can I let go of what I used to do for work? He had to go through that whole process. But as you can tell, there's an overlay of tones. I don't know if it's aphasia or not. I don't think it is. There's an overlay of tones that is from spirit directly to facilitate what we were doing.
Cool. Okay.
I'm sure, Charlie, at some point you'll be far enough along that you'll be able to get the math and you'll be able to hear the music.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that's what I know I'll find or have found already.
Yep.
There you go. All right. Well, Peter, I appreciate your taking the time to come and give us this wonderful wisdom today and through this meditation. And again, for those who would be interested in contacting Peter, you can do so at becomingawesome.one, ONE. And I'm sure Peter will be happy to book a session for you. So we thank you again, Peter, for coming. And I know that all of us are grateful for your wisdom today. So thanks so much.
Thank you. You bless me. You honor me by allowing me to share what I know. So thank you all very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Blessing.